Michael Jordan did things that felt impossible even when you watched them happen. In the playoffs, he scored 50 or more, so often that it barely shocked anyone. And he produced more 40-point postseason games than Kareem, Iverson, Steph, and Wade combined. Opponents stepped onto the court already beaten by his aura, his trash talk, and the sense that he could control the game's energy with his will alone. While other players focused on sleep, recovery, and routine, Jordan could stay up late, drink, light a cigar, and still walk into the arena and dominate as if his body had limitless gears. Yet for all the highlights and the mythology, the real question remains the same. Every time fans argue about the GOAT, how good was Michael Jordan actually? To answer that, you have to follow not just the trophies, but the transformation that turned a gifted athlete into a force that broke eras, defenses, and expectations. Jordan built his legend on scoring terror that the league had no answer for. In the postseason, he attacked every matchup with a mixture of speed, elevation, and creativity that separated him from every other guard of his generation. He regularly averaged above 30 in the playoffs and reached the mid-30s in multiple deep runs, with efficiency numbers that analytics people today would celebrate. His clutch reputation is often exaggerated for other players, but for him, it is grounded in reality. He hit deciding shots in every round, punished traps by rising above defenders, and delivered late-game daggers with such regularity that coaches built entire defensive schemes around preventing him from touching the ball. Even when he missed, the fear he created shaped every possession because nobody wanted to be the defender caught on the wrong end of his finishing move. His scoring alone could justify a legendary career, but it was only the surface layer of what made him a different species among superstars. Jordan's story becomes even stranger when you look at how unlikely his physical gifts seemed early on. As a young teenager, he was smaller than most players, got cut from varsity, and had to fight feelings of being overlooked. His brother Larry, shorter but incredibly explosive, pushed him daily, and those battles built competitive habits long before the world cared about his name. When Michael shot up towards 6'6" while keeping the quick twitch traits of a smaller guard, the result was a prototype no defense was ready for. At North Carolina, he learned discipline and structure under a controlled system that taught him positioning, timing, and how to score without dominating the ball. His championship-winning jumper in 1982 became the moment he realized that pressure was not something to fear, but something he could own. Over the next years, he became an All-American and the Collegiate Player of the Year. But because the league valued dominant centers more than athletic wings, he went third in the 1984 draft. That decision changed the sport because the Bulls accidentally acquired the most destructive perimeter force the game had ever seen. The early Bulls version of Jordan was a spectacle. He challenged veterans in practice, played at a speed the league had never felt, and attacked the rim with violent explosion. Within days of starting his NBA career, he reached 30. Shortly after that, he reached 40. And in the 1986 playoffs, he delivered 63 against Boston in the building of a dynasty. But Chicago did not have the structure or personnel to support his absolute dominance. He took too many difficult shots, forced drives into crowded defenses, and often ended up trying to win games entirely on his own. His passing instincts improved in bursts, especially when he briefly played point guard in 1980 and averaged triple-double numbers. But his natural instinct was always attack first. Detroit exposed these flaws with the Jordan rules, turning every possession into a physical test and beating the Bulls 3 straight years. Critics questioned whether someone who played with such individual brilliance could ever lead a true contender. To change the story, he needed a new system, better teammates, and a shift from raw athletic explosion to strategic excellence. The transformation began when Scottie Pippen developed into an all-around star, Horace Grant grew into a dependable interior piece, and Phil Jackson paired with Tex Winter to install the triangle offense. Jordan added muscle, raising his strength while keeping most of his signature quickness, which allowed him to overpower small defenders and survive the hits that once slowed him. The triangle changed his game by giving him better positions to attack, forcing him to trust spacing and movement rather than constant isolation. Pippen became the stabilizer, pushing the pace, handling playmaking, and guarding the toughest wing assignments so Jordan could save his energy for moments that mattered. Once everything clicked, the Bulls became a machine. They swept the Pistons, defeated Magic and the Lakers for their first championship, then crushed Portland and Phoenix in back-to-back finals. Jordan averaged more than 40 in the 1993 finals, dominated both ends of the floor, and added 3 straight finals MVPs to his resume. He had gone from a scorched earth scorer to the centerpiece of a perfectly balanced offensive system, proving that he could be a champion not by changing who he was, but by expanding into everything the team needed. The triumph came with a cost. The stress of being the face of the league, combined with the murder of his father, pushed Jordan to a breaking point. After the 1993 title, he shocked the sports world by walking away and turning to baseball. He needed a break from the spotlight and the constant expectation that he would save the Bulls every season. Baseball tested his patience, humbled his instincts, and forced him to learn a different set of skills. When he returned in 1995, his mind was sharp, but his rhythm and conditioning were not yet fully adapted back to the NBA. Against Orlando, he still scored effectively, but the Bulls lacked interior strength, and he did not yet have the legs for deep playoff dominance. Many said his era was over. Those people did not understand what kind of competitor he was. The loss reset him mentally, and the offseason became a mission. The Bulls added Dennis Rodman, the league's most intense rebounder, and suddenly the roster was loaded with defense, shooting, and versatility. Jordan came back a refined version of himself, no longer relying on pure explosion but on footwork, mid-range mastery, and ruthless precision. From 1996 to 1998, the Bulls created one of the most complete dynasties in league history. Their 72-10 season broke records, and their offense and defense ranked near the top at the same time. Jordan led the league in scoring again, while anchoring late-game defense. Pippen served as the glue for every lineup. Rodman dominated the glass, and Kukoc and Kerr brought spacing and versatility. Jordan became even more dangerous in the mid-post, using pivots, pump fakes, and fadeaways to generate clean looks without relying on the athleticism he once used as a weapon. He played through illness in the famous flu game of 1997 and hit critical shots that broke the Jazz's momentum. In 1998, with his team aging and dealing with injuries, he still carried Chicago to the finals. Game 6 produced one of the most iconic sequences in the sport. He drove for a layup, stole the ball from Karl Malone, walked up the floor, shifted Brian Russell with a subtle move, and hit the pull-up jumper that ended the dynasty with perfection. It gave him his 6th title and 6th finals MVP, a run unmatched in its combination of peak output and flawless closing. Defense and mentality completed the picture. Jordan earned 9 all-defensive first-team selections, led the league in steals multiple times, and guarded multiple positions with explosive intuition. His role next to Pippen allowed him to roam and create turnovers that turned into instant transition points. His competitiveness had a darker edge. He bullied teammates in practice, demanded intensity at all times, and pushed some players beyond their comfort zones. He gambled, held grudges, and carried a mindset that some found harsh. But this same mentality made him a relentless worker, sharpened his footwork, elevated his conditioning, and shaped a player who sustained greatness longer than nearly anyone at his position. His flaws did not erase his achievements. They explained the intensity required to maintain his level of dominance. So, how good was Michael Jordan actually? His career is built from 3 different Hall of Fame paths. His early years made him the most explosive guard the league had ever seen. His first three-peat made him the perfect blend of athleticism, efficiency, and team structure. His second three-peat proved that an older version with a different skill set could still rule the league. When compared to Wilt, Kareem, LeBron, Kobe, or Duncan, the debate depends on what you value. But if greatness means reaching the highest level when the pressure is greatest, and sustaining that level for the longest time, Jordan's claim becomes overwhelming. He dominated the sport for more than a decade, went 6-0 in the finals, collected 6 Finals MVPs, and elevated the NBA into a global phenomenon. Every new superstar still gets measured against the standard he created, because Jordan did not just succeed in basketball, he defined what the top of the sport is supposed to look like. Every comment helps this story reach more fans who still believe that basketball is about more than stats. It's about heart. Let's hear what you think. Comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the wild side of the league.